Hello and a warm welcome once again to your favorite election destination. On the squirrels.in, over the last couple of weeks, we've been giving you different sights and sounds, flavors, insights of what to make out of the much hyped Delhi Assembly elections. Today in our studios, we have one of the foremost, most transparent IS officers of our times, Vijay Shankar Pandey, well known retired civil servant, comes from the state of UP, and someone who has tracked the story of povertarian economics as well as politics, which has been based completely on the welfare of Dalits very, very closely. Great to have you with us today, Vijay.
Thank you so much.
The reason, sir, why I thought of calling you to the studios is because of this survey which has been published by an NGO, NACTOR, National Association for Dalit and Adivasi Organizations. The findings of this survey make us believe that at least as far as Dalit voters of the national capital are concerned, they seem to be completely aligned only and only with Arvind Kejriwal. However, the survey also points out that nationally, they look at Narendra Modi as a preferred Neta number one and Rahul Gandhi at a distant number two. What do these findings really tell you about the voting preferences of Dalits as a voting bloc?
Bhupenji, see the past 10 years, who has been, garnering most of the votes of the people in Delhi? It has been Arvind Kejriwal. Any community, when it goes for vote, it looks at its own interest. If any leader is promising something and coming forward to help them grow and do better for themselves, they'll vote for him. The idea, the most important Dalit leader our country has seen have been Miss Mayawati, and before that Kashi Ramji. Since if you look at the data of 2013, 14, 15 elections, this party, the BSP party, had substantial vote share, say 14 point something. But of late, looking at the lack of activity, I'll say, on the part of the BSP, or they have been unable to capture the people's mind attention, it has been falling. So what is the option left with people? Either they go with BJP or they go with Aam Aadmi Party as far as Delhi is concerned, because Congress doesn't exist almost. They did poorly in.
But isn't there a contradiction in that? When you say that Congress doesn't exist, okay, it has its share of problems in the national capital. But look at the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, sir. There was Rahul Gandhi. He was going around the entire country with a copy of the constitution and saying Samvidhan khatre mein hai. Rahul Gandhi supposedly was the beneficiary of a Dalit anger or Dalit distrust during the Lok Sabha elections. But when it comes to the assembly elections in Delhi, Dalits still prefer Narendra Modi at a national level or Arvind Kejriwal at a state level. Why?
Bhupenji, look at the elections of past 10 years. Narendra Modi have been doing very well across the country, and he is our prime minister for last 10 years. This is the third term. Arvind Kejriwal has been sweeping Delhi. This election also, last election also, and earlier also, he has been sweeping Delhi. So people look at the election through the lens of who has been ruling and who is in the position to rule. In that context, Congress doesn't exist. In that sense, I'm saying that Congress doesn't exist because you have been swept out of Delhi in 2 consecutive elections with nil seats. In parliamentary elections also, they couldn't do anything. They joined hands with Aam Aadmi Party, but still the result was the same. So in that context, I said that people are left with very few options. Either they go with Arvind Kejriwal or with Narendra Modi.
What does it tell you about the voting preference itself, sir? You were the additional cabinet secretary to Mayawati when the only time when she got a full majority government in the state of UP in 2008. You were served under Murli Manohar Joshi, one of the stalwarts of the BJP at the center. I'm just trying to understand that every election in every state in this country, we always find political parties saying, "Hum Daliton ke uthan ke samarthan mein hai." And every election is only about Dalit ka uthan. Has anything really changed about the Dalit community, or is it just the same every election?
Bhupenji, it's not only a question of Dalits, it's a question of the populace as a whole. See, our economic performance over the past 30 years, we have been showing lots of figures of growth rates and all. But The country still stands where it was in, say, in 1947. Look at the data. In 1947, also our economy was fifth largest in the world. Today, also our economy is fifth largest in the world. Everybody has moved up. We have also remained where we are. Every time a party gets power, it says, I will change the face of the state or the country. But after they have spent 5 years, 10 years, you find things remain the same. Normal growth is very common. Every country in the world has grown. It's not only the question of our country. Every country has grown. It may be 2.5%, 3%, or 6%, or 6.5%. But the fact remains, parties make this projection, parties make this agenda. We will change the face of the country. We will change the face of Dalits. We will change the face of the backward classes. But at the end of the tenure, you find hardly anything has changed. Things remain as. Tell me, Bhupenji, just think about it. Whatever problems our people have been facing in 1947, they still stand today.
This Delhi Assembly election, we've gone around slums of Kalyanpuri, of Indarpuri, we've gone to Jahangirpuri, we've gone to Trilokpuri, and everywhere I've seen only one thing. The poorest of the poor are only interested in getting more welfare subsidies, what the Prime Minister calls as revdi. Do I then understand that the only thing that is changing in our electoral ecosystem is this? Which political party at the time of election is promising how many more revdis than the other side? And is that the reason why the Dalits are looking towards Arvind Kejriwal in the assembly election? Because he wants to give 2,500 rupees for 2,100 rupees to women. Rahul Gandhi is also throwing some freebies. BJP is also throwing some freebies. So is the Dalit voting preference only and only about which party is giving them how much money?
Bhupenji, people see what they are going to get out of a government, or its performance. Excuse me. If you promise something directly into our accounts, or by giving free electricity, free water charges, people feel that they're getting something. Otherwise, as I said, the problem that existed way back at the time of independence still remain. The problem of education, problem of health, problem of poverty, problem of lack of employment, problem of roads, problem of everything. So now people have realized the governments don't perform.
So take the money.
Take the money. Whatever comes into your pocket directly, let take it. And this culture, unfortunately, I'll say, it was started basically in southern states, when they started giving saris and then television sets and then cookers and all that. But in North, I have served in Uttar Pradesh for 38 years. I tell you, there was no culture. Governments, when they used to create their manifesto, nobody ever promised any freebies. This started in Delhi by Arvind Kejriwal promising free electricity and water. Now, what is the option left with Congress or BJP? Unless they match his freebies,
they're not
will not turn towards them. So now see what has happened. BJP is promising 2,500 rupees as a old age pension, 5,000 rupees for this much of freebie in this. Congress party is same on the same boat. So this culture now has caught up. And I will blame Arvind Kejriwal for this, for starting this mad race.
And you say that you're blaming him, but he clearly remains to be the hot favorite for the Dalit community.
Bhupenji,
despite the fact that from the popularity ratings of 2020, it has come down for him a bit, but he's still Neta number one for Dalits, at least as far as Delhi is concerned.
Bhupenji,
is it freebies?
Dalits have nowhere to go. As I said, they are just waiting. Who is going to give how much to them? So in that race, if you are promising something which they feel, yes, it's a kind of cash that's going to fall into their lap, so they will go for it. The national parties have a problem. They are not like Arvind Kejriwal serving in Delhi. They have a problem. If they promise this, now the states they are ruling, there will be similar demands, and they know economically it's not viable.
Then let me draw your attention, sir, to the leader that you and I were speaking about, Mayawati. Not many people know, but in the 2008 Delhi Assembly elections, Mayawati was up at 14% vote share, and she'd got 4 assembly seats. If the way to the poorest of the poor, whether it's the Dalits or other marginalized communities, is to throw these freebies that we're talking about, why is Mayawati looking like, literally at the bottom end of the barrel? I mean, this survey points out that her approval rating is 2%, 3% for Dalits in Delhi. What's gone wrong with her?
Bhupenji, excuse me, this party ruled a state like Uttar Pradesh for 5 years, and it has been relevant since 1993 onwards. Part of the government several times, as you know. This is very shocking that the Dalits have deserted it, this party in Delhi and in Uttar Pradesh also, because their vote percentage in parliamentary elections, recently had parliamentary elections, fallen to below 10%. It's very surprising. I feel that it's an inactivity on the part of the BSP leadership to really present themselves as an alternative, or to at least to the Dalits, that they still stand for them and they are willing to go the extra mile to look after their interests. Basically, this party has risen out of this Dalit politics, as you are aware. The struggle of Kashi Ram and struggle of Ms. Mayawati all has made party what it was today. It was yesterday.
It was at one point of time.
It was once upon a time. But somehow or other it's fallen back. And the time has come, in case they want to recapture the space, political space, they have to become really active. They have to go all out. My feeling is that Dalits still have lots of faith in this party.
In BSP.
In BSP.
Despite the fact that Mayawati for Delhi Dalits as well is like literally at the bottom of the barrel. We've seen what's happened in UP, where even in her captive vote base, consistently we've seen some ebbing away going on in her captive vote base there too.
Bhupenji, people want that somebody should be there to look after their interests. If you are not active, you are not fighting for their cause, and you're not willing to walk the extra mile, they feel demoralized. Then they search for other options. This is what has happened with BSP. I feel the moment they galvanize themselves, go to people, get in touch with their problems, and galvanize the cadre. BSP has the advantage. It has a very huge
robust cadre,
and it's waiting for some action to emerge.
Okay, so final question then to you, Vijayji. You I know you don't live in Delhi. You live in Noida, but your assessment of Delhi polls. If this survey is showing that despite coming down, Arvind Kejriwal still, for the significant Dalit community, still is Neta number one, would you say that he has the edge in Delhi?
He has an edge. Past 10 years.
And you say this despite being a huge critic of Arvind Kejriwal.
Yes, because what he did, he shouldn't have done. Bhupenji, I always say one thing. You shouldn't be saying what you are not. You are not. If you say you are very honest, you have to act very honestly. So unfortunately, he got caught in so many scandals, which on the face of it prove or seem to be very genuine. He shouldn't have done that. But having done that, now still people have some faith in him that he can deliver. And whatever he had promised, he has tried to deliver. I feel the contest will be tight with some advantage, some edge with Arvind Kejriwal. Let's hope that people of Delhi choose their leaders wisely and they don't land up in the kind of mess that we saw past 1 year.
Okay, Vijayji, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can track us on our X handle as well of thesquirrels.in.